Section 1 of That Affair at Elizabeth. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Cathy Barratt. That Affair at Elizabeth, by Burton Egbert Stevenson. Chapter 1. An Urgent Summons. "That seems to be all right, Lester," said Mr. Royce, and handed the papers back to me. "I'll be mighty glad when we get that off our hands." So, I knew, would the whole force of the office, for the case had been an unusually irritating one, tangling itself up in the most unexpected ways, until, with petitions and counter-petitions, and answers and demurs and what not, we were all heartily tired of it. I slipped the papers into an envelope, and shot them into a pigeon-hole with a sigh of relief. "I think that'll end it," I said. "I don't see how there can be any further delay." "No," agreed our junior, "neither do I. Are the papers in the Griffin case ready?" "Not yet. I doubt if they will be ready before this afternoon." "Well, they can wait," he said, and glanced at his watch. "I want to catch the 10:10 for Elizabeth." "For Elizabeth?" "Yes. I know it's a mighty awkward time for me to leave, but it's an engagement I've got to keep. You've heard me speak of Burr Curtis?" "Yes," I said. "I seem to remember the name." "He's been one of my best friends for the past 10 years. I met him first at Yale, and a liking sprang up between us, which grew stronger as time went on. I played a sort of second fiddle to him then, for he was president of the class in his senior year, and was voted the most popular man in it. He came to New York as soon as he was graduated, and got a place on the construction staff of the Pennsylvania Road. He was assigned to one of the Western divisions, and I didn't see anything of him for 2 or 3 years, but finally he was recalled, and we used to hobnob at the University Club. Since my marriage, he comes around to smoke a pipe with me occasionally and talk over old times. He's a social fellow, likes companionship, and my wife says is just the man to make a woman happy. So when he wrote me a note 2 months ago announcing his engagement, we were naturally curious concerning the woman in the case, for his ideals were high. Too high, I always told him." Mr. Royce paused and sat for a moment, smiling out the window at the grey wall of the building opposite. "I remember it was one evening early last winter," he went on at last, "that Curtis happened in, and as we sat smoking together our talk somehow turned to women. It was then I learned what an idealist he was. The woman to win his heart must be accomplished, of course, witty, knowing the world and yet unsoiled by it, capable of original thought, of being her husband's intellectual companion. So much for the mental side. Physically, he wanted a Venus de Milo or Helen of Troy, nothing less. I laughed at him. I pointed out that beautiful women are seldom intellectual. But he was obdurate. He protested that he would capitulate on no other terms. I retorted that in that case he would probably remain a bachelor. "But," I remarked, "it seems to me that this friend of yours is a trifle egotistical. What has he to offer in exchange for such perfection?" "Well," said Mr. Royce slowly, "it would be a good bargain on both sides. Given such a woman, I could fancy her longing for such a man as Curtis, just as he would long for her. I've told you something of his mental calibre. Physically, he's the handsomest man I ever saw. And it seems to me he gets handsomer every year. In our college days he was rather too stout, too girlish looking, but hard work and contact with the world have rubbed all that away. George," he added, "the children of such a pair would be fit for Olympus." "And did he find her?" I asked, curious for the rest of the story. "After I got his note," said my companion, "I hunted him up at his apartments as soon as I could. He let me in himself, got out his cigars, and sat down opposite me, fairly beaming. I looked him over. I had never before seen a man who seemed so supremely happy. 'So,' I asked at last, 'you've found her?' 'Yes,' he said, 'yes.' 'The woman you were looking for?' 'The very woman.' 'That impossible ideal?' 'An ideal, yes, but not impossible, since she exists in the flesh, and I have found her.' 'Well, you're a lucky dog,' I said. 'Tell me about her.' So he told me. Quite a Laura Jean Libby story. She has everything, it seemed, that could be desired in a woman." "And beautiful?" I asked him. For reply he brought out a photograph from his desk. I tell you, Lester, it fairly took my breath away. I felt as though I were looking at a masterpiece, say Andrea del Sarto's Madonna, and I would as soon have thought of marrying the one as the other. It was like snatching a star down out of heaven. Curtis was leaning back in his chair watching me, and he smiled as I looked up. "Well?" he asked. I went over and shook hands with him. I couldn't find words to tell him what I felt. "But where has she been?" I demanded. "How does it happen she was left for you?" "She's been abroad for 5 or 6 years," he explained. "That's no answer," I said.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?